What's going on, guys? My name is Oais Raza, and this is Crushing It, a podcast dedicated to inspiring young individuals to pursue their passion by showcasing other individuals who are doing exactly that. Again, I'm your host, Oais Raza, and today's guest is one of the most prominent videographers here at UT. He is currently a sophomore studying advertising and considers himself a creative problem solver when it comes to filmmaking. Not only that, but he only picked up a camera in 2016 and has already been contracted by companies by the likes of Bumble, UGG, Inkbox, and much more. And to top all of that off, he's also the founder of BTAK Films, his own media company. Please welcome Blake Takushi.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, no worries, man. So how have you been?
Pretty good. Just been working, grinding school and work. It's hard to balance both, but always good to take some time off and do some stuff like this, just talk about what I love to do. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. So when I first heard about you, you were like a right-hand pitcher or something like that for Kempner, and you came to UT, and I kind of discovered you on Instagram as well, kind of like looked through it, and just out of nowhere, right? Like we just saw these like pieces of art just popping up out of nowhere, and I was surprised to see that. So how did that all happen? How did you get into videography?
Yeah, so it really started off as absolutely nothing. I remember just watching videos on YouTube, guys like Casey Neistat, Sam Colder, two of the guys that I look up to the most, just making these like stories, just telling stories on the internet. I'm like, why can't I do that? So I went out, bought a GoPro, just nothing special, and I would just film just random stuff with my friends. And I didn't really get into the editing process. It was just kind of like short clips, just trying to like document my life. And then eventually me and my buddy from high school, we had this scholarship opportunity for a video. And we sat down and we developed this ad for developing awareness for texting and driving. And we just used our little GoPro in the car, chopped it up on iMovie, and it was a national scholarship, and we ended up winning like $7,500. And
oh, wow.
It was by Discovery Channel and Toyota, and they flew us out to Rhode Island, and like we got to meet like the Discovery Channel production team and stuff like that. And that was just like the first video I ever made for real, and it was just like, I can do something with this. And that's where
was it just that though?
Yeah.
Was it just that first video that kind of like...
Yeah, so that really just made me realize like I can do something with videography. And then from there, the GoPro wasn't cutting it. I bought a real camera, and my senior year of high school, I vlogged like 25 or like 30 weeks in a row, just making myself produce content. And that's how I taught myself everything. That's how I got to like where I am now. Because a lot of people just come to me, they're like, I want to learn videography. How do you do it? Like, what do you recommend? I'm like, you just have to keep making stuff. And every time I would make one of those videos, I'd put it out. The next week I'd look back and be like, that was terrible. Why did I do that? And then just from those, just learning from like my mistakes, I just wouldn't make those mistakes again. And that's how, I developed my own style and just myself as a videographer.
Okay, so I mean I tried to actually get into videography I had messaged you about this a few months ago. So I think one of the most prominent things that like kind of stop people from getting into this field, at least from my personal experience, is A, you need to have like the confidence to put out your content, right? Like, and then B, I would say is like navigating that learning curve, right? Because it's like, at least for me, like I saw all of these videos out there and I saw the finished product and I was like, holy shit, like how the heck do I even do that? So how did you get over those barriers?
For me, I didn't care. Like I was doing it for myself. I was making these videos, and if everyone hated them, they thought they were lame. It's just like, I liked it. And looking back on those now, I'm so grateful that I did that, because it's all these old memories that I would have completely forgot about. And just because they're on camera, they're online, they're not these cinematic sequences. They're not these crazy stories, but it's just how I learned, and it's just how I got to where I am now. So just overcoming that, a lot of people come to me and I just tell them, don't worry about what other people think, just post it, and then you're going to see that, you're going to see how people react, and you're going to better yourself no matter what. Because I don't think I've ever made a video where to this day I'm like, that's great, like I love that still. Like even my most recent videos, I'll look back like 2 weeks later, I'm like, why did I edit that? Like, why did I cut right there? Why is that beat right? Like, so it's
you're kind of like trying to beat yourself from the last video. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that said by a lot of people who like kind of succeed in their craft. They're always trying to beat themselves from the previous day. So also I want to bring up the fact that, you talk about being like a creative like you creative problem solver when it comes to filmmaking, right? For me personally, I'm a marketer, right? And the beautiful process behind marketing, like if you talk to anyone else, they'll just be like, oh, these guys with the spam emails and the spam comments and stuff, right? But for me, it's like trying to figure out psychologically how you get like someone in that split second to make a decision to click on your thing, right? Like navigating that is just a beautiful process for me. So what is it like? Like, what do you mean when you say creative problem solver?
I think we really connect on the passion of marketing and stuff like that. I've never heard it said like that, but I really connect with that. So it's when I've really learned this ever since I started pursuing videography professionally and working with clients and getting paid from it. Because a lot of time clients come to you and they're like, oh, I want this video and these shots and it's going to look like this. And I'm like, you're hiring me to make this video for you. Let me handle that. Tell me the message you want to say. Tell me the emotions that you want to capture, what the purpose is, and then I'm going to help you develop the visuals and like the video for it. Because if you're just coming to me to hold the camera and press record and then chop it up, you know, you're like, I'm not really doing anything for you, because a lot of people can press record. I want to help you develop your story and what you're trying to say.
Okay. So, I mean, are you saying more of like the fact that when a client or someone comes to you, you don't want them to tell you exactly like where to go?
I think a lot of people get caught up in the idea of, they're like, I've had a variety of different clients do this, from like doing like sorority recruitment videos to like companies like Brigo and Lyft, who they just come to you and they're like, oh, we want this shot, this drone shot of the car, or we want the girls doing this. I'm like, what is the purpose of the video? And then let me help you develop what should be on camera.
Okay.
Because if you're just telling me what you want, then, you know, I'm not really providing any value for you. You could find anyone that can, you know, hold the camera for you. So
how do you know like what's the process behind understanding like how you can evoke those emotions or capture those, like when someone says I want XXX, like I want this certain shot to like evoke this emotion, like what's your thought process behind that?
That's the secret recipe. I can't tell you.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. It's just I have my own style. Like every videographer who's made it past, you know, just messing around, has their own style and their own ways to tell the story, whether that be in angles or colors or camera movement. Personally, like, I don't know if, I mean, you've seen my videos. I like fast-paced, but also very smooth camera movement. Just have the audience feel like they're there and not just watching something. I want the audience to be involved in the video.
So like immersed, like you give them immersive experience. So I mean, I think that kind of like covers your style and stuff, but I guess what I was trying to more understand is like, if I come to you and I say, hey, look, like I want people to feel really, really sad about this like video, like I want that emotion to be the most prominent through this video. What do you think about, what goes through your head when you're like deciding what to actually shoot, what kind of shots you want, etc.? Like, you don't have to take me through an entire explanation, but just like a brief like gist of what
that's why I love videography, because there's so many factors. When you're shooting photos, like what can you manipulate? Like the colors, the framing, that's about it. With video, you have the movement, the music, the sound effects, the acting. There's just so many different ways that you can capture what you're looking for, and it really depends on what the client wants and like who I'm working with. If it's a lot of times it's good actors. Like a good actor can make bad camera work look good. Okay. And so working with like talented models, stuff like that, can portray emotion. If not, music, sound, colors, it's just really endless, and that's why I love what I do. Okay, so I guess that's where you connect in terms of like the psychology behind doing everything. Okay, cool. So I mean, speaking of clients then, like you travel a lot, obviously, as a videographer. You get paid to go to a lot of locations. So what's been like your most prominent experience that you got paid to like, you know, go and shoot at? Unquestionably working with Cabo Villas in Mexico. It's definitely the craziest experience of my entire life. So me and my buddy Gerard Hobbs, who's another super talented videographer, we were looking to travel together just so we can, you know, create. And we're like, let's get this paid for. Like, our work is worth a lot to these companies. Let's get it paid for. So we emailed a ton of companies, and Cabo Villas got back to us, and they're like, you know, we'll have you guys out, let you stay in our villas. We'll plan an entire schedule for you guys. Just capture every moment of it, and then let us post it. And we're like, done. So we didn't necessarily get paid for it, but so we had to pay for our plane tickets, but everything else was completely covered. And the villas that they put us up in were just insane. I think the first one we stayed in over 10,000 square feet. I think they said it was probably a $15 or $16 million house.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so we shot like real estate videos for the different villas, also lifestyle stuff for the company because they offer like a lot of activities, boat rides, snorkeling, parasailing, that kind of stuff. So they just gave us full creative direction, just planned the schedule. They said, shoot it and give us the content. And that's what happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. So did you guys get to like obviously like when you shoot as a videographer, right? Like this is one of my biggest things, right? You kind of get to not like have a pass to do a bunch of things, but more of you can tell the people like Cabo Villas or whatever. You can say like, hey, look, like I need jet skiing in my like video. Like, will they actually cover that? Is that like a thing?
For sure. It's
okay.
We were kind of just so shocked that we had this schedule. Like we didn't really say, oh, we need this on top, because we were just looking at it like yacht rides, parasailing, snorkeling, meals, everything. And we were just grateful right there. But hopefully the next trip we'll see what kind of strings I can pull from the companies.
Okay, so if a company's watching right now, so what kind of proposal do you have for them?
Whatever you guys need, I can shoot. Just fly me out. And Gerard, we need the whole squad. Our girlfriends, they models, professional models, and we'll be there. So.
Okay, awesome. So also, like, one of the biggest things like that this podcast is about, especially, right, is that we want people to watch this, see other people like pursuing their passions, right? We want to see like you're a videographer, you took that step and you kind of like doubled down on it, and now you are where you are because you took that leap of faith, right? But there are a lot of people that are standing on this cliff, this imaginary cliff, right? And they're right on the edge, right? But they're way too scared to just jump off. So what allowed you to make that jump versus like everyone else?
It's just sheer passion. Like, because we talked about baseball in high school, and I thought, oh, like baseball is my life. Like, I'm so passionate about it. But with videography, it just something clicked, and it's like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And it's just, if you have that feeling, like, you don't care about the cliff at all. Like, the cliff is completely imaginary, and like there's all these risks, but you just don't care because it's something that you love to do.
Well, how do you get to not caring? Because I mean, that's a very easy thing to say. It's like I'm in the same boat as you, right? Like I double down on what I like, etc. I won't be. I'm not sure if I'm as far along as you are in terms of finding my passion, but how do you get to that point where you just don't care about what anyone's gonna think, what society's gonna say, and like what your future is gonna look like if you don't take that safe route? Yeah,
I think for me, it was something that just happened naturally. And that was just from creating every day and just kept putting out videos. And I found out like, oh, like I love to do this. Oh, people want to pay me to do it. And then finally got to that point where this is what I want to do. So if you're like on the imaginary cliff, I would say just keep riding it out and just see if you ever get to that point where you realize, you come to that realization. Because if not, maybe like videography isn't for you, or, making music isn't for you. But if you come to that point where like you just have that realization, and you just send it.
Okay, so are there like I mean, for me personally, right, like there are a lot of things that most people don't know about me that are kind of like my underlying motivations to like the reasons why I kind of like do what I do, right? Like why am I like pursuing these things full time, like etc. Right? So what are some like underlying motives besides like there's this burning passion that you want to pursue this? Because most people I talk to, there's always some sort of history, some sort of thing, some sort of event that occurs in their life that kind of pushes them to do something, like completely. So do you have something like that occurred, something that like drives you?
Yeah. So for me, it's all about just creating the memories, because you can always look back. I did this whole video on the fact that I love videography because it tells so much more of a story than just a picture. Like I had all these old baby photos of me and they're pictures, but I don't remember anything about them, where they were taken, who took them, like who I was with. But with videos, the whole story is there. The sound, the people, the environment, and all that. So this past February, I lost my mother to cancer.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. And so that's a huge driving factor in what I do. And just like, she loved my videos. She would always be on my YouTube channel, just like waiting for the next one. So that's another thing that just really pushes me. And I know that she would be just super proud to know that I'm going to like commit everything. Yeah, crush it. I'm going to commit like everything I have to pursue this. And so that's one of my biggest motivations.
Man, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So this is kind of like an off-topic question, right?
Yeah.
And I want to get to this because there's gonna be there has to be an interesting case that you have to make to defend your passion here. Okay. So if after this podcast, right, we turn off the cameras, we turn off the mics, and I offer you $12 million in a suitcase, and I say, dude, don't ever pick up a camera ever again. What would you do? Make your case. You can't just say yes or no.
Oh man, that's so tough. I think I would have to. I would turn it down.
Really?
I'd have to turn it down, even though I could buy the nicest camera equipment with that 12 mil. But
you could always direct, right?
Yeah, no, there's no way. I don't think so. It's because when I'm behind the camera, just everything is in my control, and that's what I love. Is like with BTAK Films, I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the editor.
Mm-hmm.
It's my story and it's my vision,
mm-hmm.
and I just can't. I couldn't turn that down because the money's there, and but I just want to be able to tell my story, whether that's commercially for like the rest of my life, like
mm-hmm.
helping companies brand themselves, or just my personal projects, traveling with my family, that kind of stuff. That's what I love most.
Okay, so we talked about this kind of off camera, right? But I don't think people understand to the extent that you're actually pursuing your passion just yet. So I want you to kind of talk about how committed you actually are to making this like your dream job and what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so just this semester is when I made the decision that I wanted to drop out. And that's because I've been probably shooting like 2 or 3 videos a week on the weekends,
mm-hmm.
the class during the weeks, get home, do homework, and then edit all night.
Mm-hmm.
So just that constant cycle of trying to balance like what I really love to do with like what I have to do, which would be school.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that I don't have to do school. Like I can do this full time. I can support myself. I can make a living doing this. Mm-hmm. And just be as happy as I could be, just because it's what I love.
Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna play, the devil's advocate here. So, like, say for instance, like, what was your mindset when you thought about things such as like, oh, what if something like, God forbid something happened to my hand or something, I can't shoot anymore or something like that, right? Like, you think about it down the future. If that passion that you've been like pursuing, like, you can't do it anymore, you need to have some sort of plan B. What's your plan B?
It's pretty crazy, but I've been thinking lately, I would love to be a professor.
Really?
Yeah. And just talk about what I love to do and teach it to other people. Kind of like this podcast, we're just talking about what I love to do and just mm-hmm. informing people on, creativity, that process. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily like filmmaking in a sense, but just telling stories, mm-hmm. helping brands communicate what they're about mm-hmm. and like their key ideals. So stuff like that, I would be a professor for sure.
Okay.
Probably won't get a job without a degree, but maybe I'll come back to school.
How cool would that be if you dropped out of UT and came back to teach? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
But are you talking about more of like in the sense of you want to create like YouTube videos and tutorials on how people can do what you do, or like actually just talking about it in general?
I think I would be interested in both. I think YouTube space, they already have their key creators that really put that message out there already. It's kind of competitive. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I would mess with that, but just being able to inform people, because people on Instagram hit me up all the time. They're like, how did you get where you are? Mm-hmm. And I tell them the same stuff I've been telling you right now. It's just persistence, keep working, keep bettering yourself, mm-hmm. and then the work will come, the money will come. Because for me, when I first started, obviously, like, I was reaching out to these people and they're like, oh, like, you kind of make videos, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Now my work just speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. Like, they see the videos, they're like, I want that. And then I'm like, I can make that for you. Let's make it happen. So dude, it's awesome. Just getting to that point is just really hard work, persistence, and mm-hmm. just developing yourself as a creative.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like breaking through a ceiling. Once you're there, you kind of keep on rolling with the punches, mm-hmm. right? So, I mean, I guess that leaves like one last question for you, and that's, again, what's next?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm finishing up school this semester, and starting in January, I'm going to be working full-time with a marketing and branding agency. Mm-hmm. So it's guys in-house that can do all the things that I can't offer. They have the graphic design work, the website development, the app development, mm-hmm. the marketing, the analytics, the stuff that I'm not necessarily so focused on, but it's really incorporated with what I offer mm-hmm. as a videographer. So I'm going to be with them full-time, helping them develop their business as well as, shooting their videos and photos. But so that's going to be the commercial aspect. I'm mm-hmm. going to commit like all my commercial work to work with Namaro is the company, the agency.
Yeah.
And then BTAK Films, I'm going to continue to develop hopefully as like a social media influence, just solid travel content, fun stuff on my YouTube channel, and just really kind of split that, like the commercial work with Namaro, and then the ambitious travel creative on BTAK Film.
So you're basically going to be doing what you love throughout the week, every single week.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Whether it be for companies or for myself, it's camera in my hand or on the laptop chopping stuff up. So
that's awesome, dude. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so I guess one big question I have is that why do you choose, most videographers, they love to do travel and they want to do what they like, so that's kind of what they pursue full time. So why do you like the commercial side more than just the travel side?
Yeah, so we mentioned before, a lot of videographers, they just want to focus on the party scene, the music festival scene, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it gets so repetitive. I get burnt out of parties so fast, music festivals even. Just for me, it's just filming the same thing over and over again. With commercial work, when a client comes to you, they have a problem and they need to solve it with visuals, with a video. And it's not just here's an event, film it. It's I work with the client to develop something unique and special for them,
Okay.
So it's a mix between videography and marketing, really, because they need help, and I'm not just here to hold the camera like we talked about. I want you to develop an idea and we're gonna bring it to life. So it's just presenting myself as not just someone that can produce, but help you as a marketing partner, as a business partner. It's just the business aspect that draws me in.
Okay, awesome.
Also the money, probably.
That's true. Okay, well, again, how can they find you, man?
Yeah, so you guys can reach out to me on my website, btakfilms.com. Social media is just at Blake Takushi, or on YouTube, Blake Takushi. So
okay,
it's perfect.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to Crushing It. This is Blake Takushi, and thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks again, man. It was fun.
Thank you. Shit, I forgot to say share with a fellow UT student. God damn it. Now we're not gonna have as much shares.